What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a brand new video. Today we have the one and only Vector guide coming up with probably the best attachments I could find for this gun. The Vector is one of the fastest killing weapons on both Warfare and Operations, so it's definitely a gun you want to master and have the proper attachments on. And I figured out a build which makes the strafing super quick, as you can see, which I think is extremely good, specifically for Operations, but also for Warfare. Winning gunfights while being strafing like this quickly is very useful. But as you can check, that target right there is 50 meters away, and the recoil on this thing is actually quite low. The only down part of this build, as you can see, is a slow ADS speed, but I think with the hip firing it doesn't really matter, so you can get up close kills very quickly, and in that same time you're ADSing. So overall, one of the best builds I could figure out for the Vector. First, I got some clips for you guys, and then we'll get into the full build. Thank you. Thank you. That worked way too well. That worked way too well. Crossplay or not? Still alive, dude? Why? No way. Okay. We've been very successful so far, getting a kill every time I push. And as soon as that the streak ended. Holy crap. When there's a Luna player like that, I always expect like a beacon to be somewhere random. That's a Claymore. I'm kind of glad the Claymore doesn't want to hit you. One thing they've done well in this game. Ground lethal's not one-hitting. Kind of farming here. Well, I'm running fast, kind of on the streak.
Do something while it lasts.
Not the tank.
Stand one. Enemy head.
That's good. So here it is, the Vector submachine gun. I maxed it out at level 62. If you want to copy this loadout, there will be a link down in the description. You go to loadout, import, you enter the code here. This will be the code. Only works on the Steam version of this game and on mobile as far as I am aware. Let's get into the attachments. First, I have the panoramic red dot sight. You can honestly use any of the sights you want, but I would definitely recommend at least an iron sight. I have the micro sight riser. Why? Because I want to improve the handling a little bit on this weapon. As you could see in the previous section, the ADS speed isn't the fastest, so I wanted to make up with that. Also made up with that for the light stock, improving the control and handling once again. Then we went with the 70 round extended mag. The 40 round is actually quite good as well, and as you can see, you get +8 handling. However, the reload times are almost just as quick, which is pretty insane to think about. 30 extra rounds and the reload times are not that much different. So that's why I would recommend the 70 round mag, but you lose quite a bit of handling. Handling 51 for a submachine gun is just not very high. It is playable, as you could see. But that's something you're gonna have to get used to with this weapon. However, I still think you can win gunfights pretty easily with this. Then the angled combat grip, also one that reduces the handling, so the ADS speed. However, this makes the gun being able to shoot at 50 range, basically. Especially having that drum mag 70 rounds and the angled combat grip makes this gun very versatile. So it makes it very useful across multiple ranges rather than it just being a close range submachine gun. So that's why I use angled combat grip. Then Sandstorm vertical compensator, reducing the vertical recoil control. If you struggle a little bit more with the horizontal recoil control, you can add the Bastion horizontal compensator. Definitely would check out either one of these, which one you like more. They both do a similar amount of recoil control. However, one does horizontal and one does vertical. I also tried a suppressor on this, which is actually quite nice. You get a +2 range when you use the Whisper tactical suppressor, but you lose a little bit of handling again, a little bit of control. But it's not a bad option to go with the Whisper tactical suppressor. Then onto the barrel, I went with the long sword barrel. Look at the range, muzzle velocity, and control. Again, a barrel that I picked so it becomes a little bit more versatile. Not a barrel that kind of suits the weapon originally very good, but I think once you get used to the playstyle with the Vector, this makes it extremely good with the mid-range gunfights, and you actually can beat assault rifles once you have that barrel enabled. Now coming in with the handguards, I have a control handguard. I have that twice. And then I have the handling handguard. I also have that one twice. You could switch these ones around. If you're struggling a little bit more with the control, go with 4 control ones. If you want more handling, go with 4 handlings. Also, I don't have a laser sight on this because the laser sight reduces handling even more. So that's why I decided not to go with a laser sight. And the hip fire of this gun with the rate of fire is already quite good. So that's why I decided not to go with the laser sight. Now, coming in with calibrations, a riser, I have minus zoom and minus IRLF. Of course, it's a close range weapon, so that's why I picked that. This is something that I know a lot of people might not like, so definitely try and mess around with that in the firing range, but I would recommend putting it on low for the vector. Extra recoil control, of course, and then for the foregrip, I didn't change anything. And then here with the barrel, I have extra ADS movement speed and extra ADS speed. That's going to be it for the vector. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this build. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any of the daily Delta Force videos I'm uploading. And I hope to see you guys in the next one.